Today has been one of my best days in a long time.
How does the federal court ruling last week in the Ripple case impact your stance toward digital asset regulation? Does it inject urgency into the need for federal legislation to clarify regulatory oversight of this industry?
Look, our mission remains exactly what I spoke about earlier, about investor protection, promoting capital formation, and the markets in the middle. This is a recent decision, just a handful of days ago. We were pleased from that decision, recognizing the importance of protecting investors on the institutional investors in that, and that the court movement with regard to fair notice, and while disappointed on what they said about retail investors, we're still looking at it and assessing that opinion.
You know, I haven't had it in a long time that I saw Gary Gensler, first of all, this nervous, and second of all, in such an uncomfortable situation. This was digital gold for me. To see the man, maybe I'm dark, but I like to see this man in shambles. Is that wrong? Anyway, guys, if you've not done it yet, make sure you press that like button and let's talk about this because this is interesting. Gary Gensler just gave a couple different interviews. He's doing another one, I think, tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow he's doing the Senate Appropriations Committee, which is going to be interesting. But no, I loved it so much that he says he's disappointed over the way that retail investors are being treated. I'm not sure if you guys noticed it, but he also had a little part in there where he talked about the institutional investors. To me, that's gold because it showcases once more. I'll show it to you again.
Recognizing the importance of protecting investors on the institutional investors.
That he's like happy that the institutional investors can get protected. I mean, it makes sense because we've already said before, most likely the puppeteers are a layer above him, right? But those are obviously also institutional investors. So it makes sense that the SEC, wow, it starts to click for me now. It makes sense. The SEC literally is trying to destroy retail in every single way, shape, or form. And so they're dissatisfied that retail now came out on top. But they're pretty happy that institutional investments, that they also won that. Whereas in theory, it should kind of be the opposite way around. These institutions can take the hit. The retail can't, right? So it's kind of strange that he's so happy they won on the institutional field and lost on the retail when it should kind of have been the opposite. Anyway, that's why he said he was disappointed at the end of the day because he expected something else. And it just makes me excited to see him disappointed. I know it's dark, but it's the way it is. But a lot of people over on Twitter are stating the exact same thing. He's not trying to protect the retail. He's trying to protect the institutions. Now, over on Twitter, I wanted to actually make this video only like 2 minutes because the only thing I wanted to talk about was just Gary Gensler being disappointed. And I had so much fun in listening to that and watching that I wanted to post it on YouTube, As I said, it's dark, but I really enjoyed that. Then again, when looking over on Twitter, the amount of people talking about it right now is pretty insane. Like Charles is saying, in a luncheon at the Press Club DC, Gary hints that heavily that the SEC plans to appeal Therez's Ripple decision with the quote at the end, "We're still looking at it and assessing the part of the commission lost," which basically said no disclosures are necessary when selling crypto on exchanges. But as I said before, this man, I think, is slowly but surely losing his mind, becoming a literal lunatic as far as Twitter is concerned. Funny and sad at the same time how the XRP crowd relentlessly dragged Bill Hinman's name through the mud, yet he's barely mentioned in the Judge Therez's decision. You would think if he breached any serious ethic lines, much less broke the law as he was accused, you would has said so. She would have said so. I'm not sure why I said you. Well, our whole point at the end of the day is that we indeed believe she should have said so, but they're not. But I'd say from the research that has been put up, we all know that whatever happened with Bill Hinman, William Hinman, was not like the purest piece of cake, There's definitely some shady shenanigans going on right there. And I'm not sure exactly why Charles is trying to cover it up. I mean, his whole entire feed here is just shitting on the XRP community and Ripple. Several people have been trolled by the XRP cultists, say they issue death threats, will make up any sort of lies, etc. Sad and scary stuff, and pointless. It won't stop the SEC from appealing the Ripple case or the court issuing a fine. Certainly won't bring the XRP back to $3. And bad omen for the XRP troll crowd. He's going I'm not sure why he posted that right now. I mean, he didn't post this now, obviously. He just retweeted it. This will really stop me sad, huh? Nice little pants right there. Nah, but people are very angry with Charles for promoting a scam yesterday. If you didn't know, he basically retweeted and said some bad things about XRP. But the thing he was referring to was a scam account. It's right here. He says, guys, we'll be discussing the next possible steps in the SEC v. Ripple case, 3:45 p.m., as a response to Joey Swoll, who basically said, hey, Charles, why are you letting 800,000 people see this scam, which now changed their name from Ripple whatever to ZK Sync? You see, 800,000 people saw it, of him retweeting a scam that was supposedly Ripple. And because a news reporter, tweeted it out, it looked like that was a real account. So probably some people got scammed at least. Even I was quick to state, I'm not sure where it is, this guy literally got baited by a freaking scam account. It's insane. Because the scam account said, join our community celebrating our Coinbase partnership. And he said, Ripple keeps reminding me XRP and Ripple are not connected in any way. I guess that ship is definitely sailed. Sad, huh? And he's even going as far as to insult the judge. If there's one thing I learned from the judge's sloppy decision on Ripple, it's just how connected XRP and Ripple really are. For years, the company tried to tell me otherwise. Her decision, while idiotic, did produce this gem. Ripple explains that its business model is predicated on the belief that demand for XRP will increase. If the Ripple protocol becomes widely adopted, and if the Ripple protocol becomes the backbone of the global value transfer, Ripple expects the demand for XRP to be considerable. So he's going as far as to insult the judge. Now, I'm not so sure why you do that. I don't know, maybe he's just salty. Maybe he's getting paid to be such a negative Nancy onto XRP. But please understand that for me, this showcases once more just how strange it is from the media perspective. Like, why are people so obsessed in wanting to see Ripple in a bad light? If you take a look at the top left right here, his last 5 media posts are about the XRP price and making jokes about it. Why? At first, I thought maybe somebody hurt this man, but now I'm thinking, no, this must really just be predatory. I think there's a deeper goal here. I think maybe he just wants to become a little bit of a meme or something. Not exactly sure what his goals are with just shitting on top of everybody's head, stepping in his own shit. He said no one's getting rich today on XRP or yesterday or the day before that, except for the company insiders who cleaned up. And I warned you, just like I warned the AMC knuckleheads, but I guess you guys can only dream. Crypto bull came in to say, hey, Charlie, darling, you lack a fundamental understanding of how investing works. First, XRP been and still is one of the highest valued crypto in the world. Secondly, no asset shoots straight up. The regulatory clarity we now have will make XRP one of the top performers in the coming weeks, months, years. Because, again, it's the only crypto out there that has it. I suggest you shit your ass down, but put a big bratwurst in your mouth and relax while you watch XRP do its thing. To which, he obviously had to stay here. Darling, I have a bridge in Brooklyn to sell you as well. On a side note, I really love this little picture right here. The SEC trying to protect this little sleeping kid from all these dangers, right? Like XRP and altcoins, which are little feathers. But of course, FTX, Celsius, Voyager, BlockFi, no, let those schlap on in, don't care about those. Here's actually another little video I want you guys to watch. It says, Commissioner Caroline Pham talks about regulating the treasury market and how the CFTC and SEC can work together on crypto regulation.
Today we were talking about tokenization of real assets, which is the existing regulatory framework. So if we're talking about tokenizing a security, then it's all the rules and regulations that go with securities. And the European Union, the Singapore, the Hong Kong, and even the EUK are now making progress in all of those areas. So I was very happy to talk about how we could improve clearing, settlement, custody, and asset servicing around these asset classes. Talking about crypto, so thinking about Bitcoin or Ether, last year I said that we were going to see regulatory clarity first in the courts around the definition of a security, and I think you've seen that with some very big court opinions that have been released. So it is important that the United States regulators work together. The FSB just released today their crypto asset principles for authorities, and I really look forward to participating in both those international and domestic working groups to make sure that we are coming up with a holistic approach.
And whenever I look into this, I just always wonder, so why is one of the most important agencies in the U.S., the Securities and Exchange Commission for the investor climate, right? Why can't they seem to think about it this way? Why is it literally every other agency that says, hey, we really need to start working on this. We need to get something going to protect the people, make it clear, yada, yada, yada. But the only agency out there which seems to have all the authority, right? They don't own it, but they seem to claim it, is saying, you know what? Let's keep everything as vague as possible. Why? I still can't think. As I said, the only thing I can always come back to is just, it is manipulated from above, or these guys are doing it for career points, for like, hey, I want to have as many lawsuits on my belt as possible from Gary Gensler's side. Because why otherwise? It doesn't make sense. The more I read into it and do that every single day, the more I get convinced it just doesn't make sense. Because on the one hand, right, the CFTC and guys over there are saying, hey, let's get a framework going for crypto. And then you have the SEC, whom they're supposedly trying to work together with, who says, no, basically every single crypto is security, right? And we're not going to even work with them. We're going to try, like, get them burned to the ground. So anyway, right now, something else which I think was quite interesting is Senator Elizabeth Warren apparently requests the SEC's investigation into Elon Musk's Tesla over Twitter ties, alleging misappropriation of asset and conflict of interest. Just wanted to quickly let you guys know that, you know, the SEC is always at work to mess things up. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. Mostly bad, actually. And that there's also a lot of FUD with regards to Binance. There's a very big campaign which is going back and forth between Adam and the guys over at Binance. And I keep questioning myself, and I have it somewhere open at the top here. I don't know exactly where, but why are people so eager to go try and take down Binance? Here, Wendy said it. You're really cheering for the largest crypto exchange in the world to collapse? Has everyone gone insane today? Or, you know, banks commit far more atrocities than crypto in 5 billion more cases. Well, yeah, that's one thing that's true. And realize this. If Binance goes down, crypto will survive, obviously, but it's going to take a little bit of time to build. And CZ, I think, has a better influence for crypto than many people realize in a good way. He also said now, if you only invest during bull markets, then you're by definition only buying high. Not investment advice, just saying. Because I think right now the bull market is back, but we're still at one of the lower parts, which is why I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm not encouraging anything. But I am saying I think right now buying is a pretty good idea. But at the end of the day, that's also for the most part because I know what I hold, right? I know that Ethereum is always being manipulated, but still for that reason, I think it's pretty proper because they're never going to try to let it die. I think there's so much power in that to keep it alive. But also from the XRP perspective, right? The bank floodgates have all now started to open up. Things are finally starting to become great, basically, in that department. And it just keeps me excited, you know, keeps it fresh because you know that any single day one crazy thing could just be announced because, well, Ripple's pretty freaking huge. And also, I wanted to quickly mention that apparently Celsius has started to sell altcoins for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Just quickly had to put a notice up in case you're wondering why some specific coins might be going down or receiving some additional FUD. Here you can see a little list. And then there's another 7-minute interview that Gary did, I believe, today. And, I don't want to show you guys 7 minutes worth of content, but it is worth watching. But the takeaways are, Gary Gensler almost seems like he didn't want to talk crypto, which is a big change. It's interesting. 2, some of the wind has been taken off his sails. He's not as bold and aggressive with his talking points as he was before, because usually he was like, hey, we're going to win this. We're going to take it all down. But right now he has to be more passive because, well, apparently they're not only winning. This is why we keep fighting, folks. The courts will expose the scumbag regulator. I hope Coinbase and Grayscale mop the floor with Gensler and the SEC, and I hope the same for Binance.
Switching gears, I want to ask you about crypto.
There you go, Jennifer.
You didn't think I was going to let you off the hook here, Gensler, did you? All right, so last week we got a major ruling from the Southern District of New York on Ripple. How does this ruling change your approach, if at all, your abilities when it comes to regulating crypto and specifically crypto exchanges?
Look, our approach has been the same. It's about protecting investors, facilitating those who want to raise money, and the markets in the middle. And that's true whether it's in other parts of the securities markets or the parts of the crypto markets that are securities. And in terms of the decision, we're still taking a look at it. We're pleased with how the courts addressed itself to that a token for institutional investors is a security, how they address themselves to fair notice, disappointed in other aspect about retail investors, but we're still taking a look at that and considering it.
Coinbase is already relisting Ripple. A lot of these crypto exchanges feel like this was a real win for them, that the tokens that they list on their exchanges are not securities based on this ruling. So what do you say to them? Are you concerned about potential precedent that this could set, especially for other charges that the SEC has brought against other crypto exchanges?
Look, again, Jennifer, you're asking good questions, but there's ongoing litigation with regard to a number of these crypto platforms. And these crypto platforms are commingling a number of services that you've seen on these crypto platforms where they could well be trading against their customers, bundling up a bunch of services that we would not allow in any other parts of our capital markets. So the investing public comes first. That's how our securities laws were first written. Companies raising money in the markets as well, and really protecting them and protecting the integrity of the markets. But I'm not able to go into any ongoing enforcement matters.
So
That was pretty amazing that I could show you a video so I can like eat, while I'm doing this. I'll put this huge carrot right here for the meantime. Anyway, like I was trying to say, afterwards, she basically asked him one simple question, which was, so does this make you reconsider making some rules or something, or getting things clear? And he's like, well, it's just been like 3 business days, AKA the always approach of let's just dodge any single important part. So let's not address it. Let's make things obviously vague as possible or obliviously fake. Yeah, it's nothing surprising. It's the way the SEC does their business, and at the end of the day, anybody looking at them, seeing they're a good entity, doing it for the people, I think is lied to themselves. But yeah, guys, like I always say, make sure you've got your notification bell on for in case something crazy happens, and I'll see you guys again later today in another crypto video. The notification bell is very important though, because anything, something really crazy could happen, as you guys all know. So yeah.